Now, it's been more than 3 months since the sanctions against Iran were adopted. Now, why did it take Moscow so long in announcing that it's stopping the sale of missiles to Iran?
Actually, Russian officials have announced from the very beginning, right after the sanctions were imposed back 3 months ago in June, that Russia is going to follow all international regulations and international law. And if that system S-300 falls under the sanctions, it means it will not be shipped to Iran before the situation changes. Either sanctions are lifted or the situation is resolved in any other way. Russian Prime Minister Vladimir Putin said it right after the sanctions were imposed. Actually, today I saw a video on BBC where there was a quotation of Sergei Lavrov saying the opposite thing. But actually that was a very short piece cut out of interview that covered absolutely different topic. So Russian officials have always been very prudent and have always followed the international line. International community has imposed the 4th round of sanctions against Iran. It means no illegal sales will ever take place before either the sanctions are lifted or the situation is changed in any other way. So Russian position has not changed. Russia follows international law.
Okay, now Russia is planning to increase military cooperation with Israel. Is this linked with today's announcement?
Oh, actually, there are a lot of speculations about vested interests of Israeli lobby or Iranian lobby in Russia. Actually, Russia has been cooperating with over 100 countries selling its military gear, and now Russia is going to sell military gear to Afghanistan. Russia is doing business with Saudi Arabia. Russia has lots of multi-billion contracts with Israel. Russian and Israeli companies develop military hardware and sell it then to India. So Russian military-industrial complex is so large, so it has links to almost all countries all over the world. And it's quite unreasonable to have any vested interests. I don't think there is any link between the current announcement and any kind of cooperation with Israel. But of course, Russia cooperates with Israel as well as it cooperates with hundreds of other countries.
Okay, well, Iran reportedly already owns similar missiles obtained from other sources. So how much does Iran actually rely on the contract with Moscow?
Iran is totally dependent on its contract with Moscow if it wants to provide security for its airspace, and there is no other way to get similar missiles but to purchase them from Russia. Russian S-300 complex, it's not only missiles, those are launch pads, those are radar facilities and so on, is the state-of-the-art equipment, and international experts all agree to that. It's perfect while protecting urban areas because it has a unique feature. It's called mortar start. And there's no other way to get this kind of complex but to purchase it from Russia, especially if Iran wants to protect its airspace and enhance its air defensive capabilities against all kinds of targets. Those are planes, supersonic jets, rotorcrafts, cruise missiles, and even ballistic missiles at certain parts of their trajectories.
Well, having said that, you said that they were dependent. Now, how likely will this decision of Moscow to stop the deliveries affect the relationship between the two countries?
I guess it will affect the relations with current Ahmadinejad regime in Iran. But Russia and Iran have been neighbors for centuries, and the relation go back centuries ago. So I think the situation will change to a certain way. Maybe the sanctions are lifted, maybe anything else changes. Then I think in the long run it will not affect Russian-Iranian relations. But I think that Iranian authorities have to understand the message from international community. They have to change something in their attitude towards the outer world, and they have to think twice before going on with their nuclear program.
All right, thank you very much for your insight. That was Igor Khokhlov from the Moscow-based Institute of World Economy and